Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, we're going to talk about that laughable, what they call patriotic halftime show that most of the performers dropped out of because they didn't want to be associated with Turning Point USA. This was supposed to be a replacement for Bad Bunny. It was not much of a replacement because, number one, these folks at Turning Point USA, they pre-recorded it. It wasn't even live. And they had Kid Rock of all people. And it was funny watching his performance. His lip syncing was completely off. And I was like, this dude don't know the words to his own song. So anyway, it was kind of funny. So they were trying to boast that, you know, a lot of people tuned in and they didn't. They didn't. You know where MAGA was watching Bad Bunny? They weren't even, nobody was at this Turning Point USA. And plus, there are some people boycotting Turning Point USA because they don't like the way things are going under the leadership of Erika Kirk. There are people that said, they are boycotting. So, look, Turning Point USA is never going to have the same crowds that the Super Bowl is. So they're trying to say 5 million people tuned in. I really don't believe that many people tuned in. I really don't. I don't believe that at all. I think that number is greatly exaggerated. So, y'all, you're going to get a good, if nothing else, you'll get a laugh out of this. Let me share my screen because a lot of people are laughing at the fact that the Turning Point USA replacement for the halftime show was a big flop. it was a big flop, but I mean, come on, Erika Kirk didn't even show up. That should say a lot right there. You had all these people coming to perform as an alternative to Bad Bunny. Many of the acts did not show, and Erika Kirk herself did not show up. So much for supporting your events, right? All right. Thank you for the ones, everybody.
Didn't get to the end of my last video. So in this one, I am not going to bury the lead. Young ladies, I like them underage, see? Some say that's statutory, but I say that's mandatory. Y'all know who said that? Kid Rock. That explains a lot about why he is the face of the MAGA entertainment movement, doesn't it? He is right on brand with exactly who they are or who they are showing themselves to be. This is the guy that they decided was the perfect person to represent family values, faith, family, and freedom. This guy, this self-proclaimed PDF, was the guy that they thought would take views away from Bad Bunny in an alternative, all-American, family-friendly halftime show. This self-proclaimed PDF is the guy that the For the Children party want to tout as their head entertainer. Yet the sad thing is, they don't even like him. Now, the whole MAGA movement was supposed to have watched this alternative halftime show. This alternative halftime show was supposed to be for the American people who just couldn't get over the fact that the whole halftime show was going to be in Spanish, even though they seem to have no problem listening to Spanish any other time. They listen to reggaeton, Spanish hip hop, K-pop. They have no problem with those not being in English. But now suddenly it's a problem. So they were supposed to do this alternative faith-based halftime show, and barely anybody showed up. Now, not only did they not properly prepare, not getting the licensing sorted out for Twitter, so they couldn't air on Twitter, even though the person that owns Twitter is supposedly on their side. They couldn't air on Twitter. So the only place that they could air was YouTube. And the YouTube estimates for this alternative show was only 4 to 6 million people, which was basically the electorate that voted for Bone Spurs in Texas, one state. Meanwhile, Bad Bunny's performance had the highest ratings on record at 135 to 135.4 million people tuning in to see his halftime show. This takes the new record that Kendrick Lamar set last year when he had 133 plus million people tune into his halftime show. But you know why that record was set? And why the alternative halftime show was such a failure? Because not even the people
Okay, I want to correct something she said. Bad Bunny did not have the most viewership of all time. That is false. He had the fourth largest. He did not beat out Kendrick Lamar. He did not beat out Michael Jackson. So he's in fourth place. And can y'all hear me? It's false because she just said it was the big, because that's why the only reason why she's saying that, that's because that's what the Latinos have been going around and saying online. It is false. There's no way a Spanish speaker would beat out everybody else. It would never happen, y'all. I'm just telling you, it would never happen. He's in fourth place. All right. And when I get to Bad Bunny, which is at 145, I will give you the numbers. They finally came out with the numbers. And number two, you should have known the numbers they were giving were false, because it takes Nielsen several days to tally up how many people tuned in. These folks came out immediately after the performance, start screaming, "Oh, it was the best of all time." That is false. It is false. Bad Bunny did not beat out Kendrick Lamar. I watched the performance, and to be honest with you, I didn't think it was not that enthusiastic. And but you'll hear more from people. The biggest haters of Bad Bunny were white people, and we'll get into that at 145. But the biggest attack is on us. You know how it goes, right? But no. So she's just repeating what she heard online, and that is false. So let's go on.
at the top watched that show. Bone Spurs was at Mar-a-Lago at a private party paid for by tax dollars, watching Bad Bunny's show on the big screens. Not once did they have the Turning Point USA show on the big screens. Carrie Lake, Laura Loomer, they were all watching Bad Bunny show as well. Like, you guys had your own show. That was the whole point of the alternative. But you are not happy in your own spaces. You don't like to support each other in your own spaces. You like to hate watch. You like to come into other people's spaces because they live rent free in your mind. They just had to watch it so that they could say something hateful about it, like Laura Loomer and this disgraceful comment. Once again, illustrating her ignorance and the ignorance of those on the right. And she just says the quiet part out loud when she says it's not white enough for her. That is exactly the problem that they have with the entire country. The country itself isn't white enough for them. People like Laura Loomer aren't happy with their 58.8% whiteness in this country. They need more. And they are happy to say with their full chest that they want an ethnic cleansing of this country. They're not even hiding it anymore, which is why we need to continue to call it what it is and stop shying away from the truth because it makes us uncomfortable. These are not normal times. So we need to stop acting like we can just play around with these people and tiptoe around calling them out for the things that they are doing. We're done with that. Now, again, Bone Spurs didn't even watch the Turning Point USA halftime show. He watched the Bad Bunny show. And we know this not only because there was footage of the Bad Bunny halftime show being shown at Mar-a-Lago on the big screens, but he also put out a post about it in detail, complaining about the dancing not being safe for children, which is rich coming from that guy. But not only did he not watch it, not even Erika Kirk showed up to the Turning Point USA event. She couldn't even be bothered to show up to her own event, which is how you know that this whole thing was performative in the first place. It was just them, once again, trying to prove that they are less mediocre by getting attention away from somebody who is brown and way more talented. Not even she thought it was important enough to show up. And how do we know that they were completely mediocre other than the fact that they didn't even bother to get licensing on Twitter for their own songs? Is apparently it was pre-taped and not live, which is fine, but reports are saying that Kid Rock was obviously lip singing. Not only did you pre-record it, but you didn't even bother to actually sing it. Like, you can tell that they did not even take their own event seriously. It was literally just something to try to hinder the brown person who was actually doing the work, as usual. Y'all let me know how bad it was, because I have absolutely no desire whatsoever to watch that alternative halftime show. The reason why is because I am actually comfortable in my own spaces. I do not need to hate watch in order to seek validation for myself. My worth and existence isn't predicated on the eradication or denigration of other people. It isn't based on how far I can push people below me. I would much rather do the work and rise above them on my own power. So no, I have no interest in watching that alternative halftime show, but if you did, and you got things to say about it, put it in the comments, because it is hilarious to see them crash out so badly. I already had quite a few comments in my other video crashing out. Like, they cannot help themselves. It's embarrassing, and I love this for them.
I couldn't wait to see the numbers from TPUSA's halftime show, because I just wanted to get a temperature check. You know what I mean? Like, we always say they're the minority, and I was like, this is going to be a good temperature check. 4 million. 4 million people tuned into that. Yeah, that's less than half the population of Los Angeles County. How embarrassing. Like, actually, how fucking embarrassing. Did you see all of the people on social media that are like, this is going to be the best halftime show ever. So big mistake booking Bad Bunny. Bitch, 4 million is hella. It is so comical that they really thought that Kid Rock was going to outshine Bad Bunny. Like, the man just swept at the Grammys. Like, their temperature check on reality is so far removed. They live in this delusional bubble where they think that the majority of America are supporting racists that listen to Kid Rock. You're all fucking insane.
The Turning Point USA halftime show was such a flop to the point where Trump himself didn't even watch it. The YouTube live stream only reportedly drew in around 5 million to 6.1 million concurrent viewers, compared to the NFL's 127 million concurrent viewers. Of course, the show had Kid Rock and a handful of others drawing in roughly 4% of the viewership of what the NFL got for the world's largest artist. This does not shock me at all. I mean, who the hell cares about a halftime with Kid Rock? Let's be real. I didn't watch it, but from what I heard, it was horrible, so I'm not even going to waste 15 minutes of my life to do so, and neither should you. There is no reason to go watch the Kid Rock halftime show. You know, Turning Point USA does not deserve your money. Neither does Kid Rock or anyone else who went and performed. You know, they're all terrible people at the end of the day, but also, like, this was dumb. It was never going to be successful, right? Most people watched the regular halftime show and complained about it. They were going to do that anyways. They did it last year, right? That's just how it's going to go. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching this video. Like, repost to get the information out, and drop a follow for more news content. Later, guys. Have a good one.
Breaking news, Turning Point's All-American halftime show was a complete flop. Even Trump preferred to watch Bad Bunny instead. Turning Point's peak viewership for their half show was around 3.2 million people, which in reference is around a quarter of the typical viewership the Puppy Bowl brings in each year, and is less than the total amount of Republicans that voted for Trump in Texas. Trump posted this statement on Truth Social moments ago, saying that Bad Bunny's performance was the worst ever, absolutely terrible, so on and so forth. That's not the point. The point is that's Trump saying that he watched Bad Bunny's performance and didn't like it. But if he was watching Bad Bunny's performance, he wasn't watching Turning Point's performance. That is absolutely hilarious. That's all for now. Make sure to hit that follow button to stay in the loop.
Erika's just not having a good time. Erika Kirk is not having a good time. Imagine someone brings you the musical guest list to your Super Bowl halftime show and it says Kid Rock. I would fucking fall out. There's no way. First of all, he's been around 1,000 years. I don't remember a time in my life where Kid Rock didn't exist. I feel like he's always been there in the darkness, waiting. I don't get it. But you know what? He was probably just like, I just need this check to clear. I don't have a lot of hope or prospects left in this world. I just need that check to clear. I'll go on there and I'll treat it like a lip syncing contest because that's what it was. He didn't know what the words were. He didn't know where he was. Thank God for other people watching it and taking clips of it because I did not sit there and watch it, and I will not give them my money on YouTube to watch it. So I've been basing my opinion off the clips. Then there's like a 16th century pirate with a cello or something. And ordinarily, I wouldn't have a problem with that, but it's the fact that you're on that stage. And I'm going to be a hater for a little bit. You didn't look very good and your music wasn't very good either. And there was that man singing about how he loves a truck. And like he was telling his daughter how boys are not girls or something. What did you use Grok to write your music? Did you? Because it's so bad. Oh my God. If somebody was like, these are the only musical guests we could confirm, I'd be like, cancel the show. Cancel all of it. We're not doing this. There's no way with a straight face I would ever put something like that on. That's crazy. If they were like, these are the only people who will fuck with your movement, I'm jumping off a bridge. Like, that's crazy. The grift is coming to an end. People are seeing through it and be like, nah, I don't like this. And thank God. Imagine being so racist and tone deaf to the world around you that you would rather put Kid Rock on stage with little firework pyrotechnics than watch Bad Bunny do an incredible performance during the halftime show of the Super Bowl. That was art. That was beautiful. And this is what you made. Humiliating.
Hello and good morning. I am happy to announce that the Turning Point USA halftime show was one of the greatest flops in American history. It was so embarrassing. I got secondhand embarrassment just from watching the rerun on TikTok. Kid Rock has never sounded or looked worse. And this is coming from somebody who is a fan of country music. I do love country music, and I will admit that back in the day, Kid Rock had some bangers, but the way that when you start acting the way that he acts, everything about you just starts to flop. And it's so clear and evident. He sounded awful. And if you paid every single person in that crowd, which wasn't that many, $1,000 to bob their heads on beat, it wouldn't have happened.
While Erika was inside talking about faith and revival, there was a whole different conversation happening right outside the door. And instead of trying to calm things down or address the concerns, Erika went the opposite direction. She weighed in on the anti-ICE protests and straight up called them demonic. That's the word she used, which of course only poured gasoline on the fire. Because now people weren't just mad, they felt dismissed, insulted, and painted as evil for even speaking up.
It was interesting because he asked her the question, do you think these protests are helping? Personally, I do not. I think it's demonic.
At that point, a lot of people felt like she didn't care how bad it looked, like pulling in a crowd mattered more than who she partnered with or what message it sent. And that's when people really started asking the uncomfortable question. Because we have to talk about the money. Since Charlie's death, Erika hasn't just been grieving, she's been fundraising, touring, selling merch, and bringing in serious cash. And when you look at how hard she's pushing these events, it's hard not to wonder how much of this is about faith and how much of it is about profit. And that right there might be the biggest motivation of all. After Charlie was unalived in September 2025, Erika didn't just step into his role at TPUSA. She also inherited a massive amount of wealth. We're talking tens of millions of dollars coming in from different directions, all within a pretty short window of time. First, there was life insurance. Reports say the policy paid out around $10 million, meant for Erika and their 2 kids. Then came the donations. Public donations alone added up to almost another $10 million. One of the biggest fundraisers, pushed by Tucker Carlson's brand, pulled in over $5 million by itself. On top of that, Erika became CEO of Turning Point USA, Charlie was making just under $400,000 a year, so people assume her salary is at least that, if not more. Then there's everything else. Earlier in 2025, they sold their Scottsdale home for over $5 million, which reportedly left around $2 million in cash after everything was settled. Erika also continues to collect royalties from Charlie's books, and there are a lot of them, plus income from his media projects. She also inherited ownership of for-profit companies like Resolute Media Group, which runs the Charlie Kirk Show. So yeah, financially, she landed on her feet very comfortably. Now, because of how fast all of this happened, the internet went wild with the
So I'm watching the Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny, right? And then I get curious. I'm like, oh, what's going on with Charlie Kirk's Super Bowl halftime show, right? So I get on the internet and this is what I see. Technical difficulties. They're not going to stream it, bruh. Big L, dude.
Bad Bunny did the halftime show, and it was pretty great. And despite the fact that the messaging was things like this, there was still a group of people who had already made up their mind about what it was and what it wasn't. And they made that clear. It was un-American, worst halftime show ever, unimpressed. My favorite, though, is this guy's awful, spelled A-W-E-F-U-L, because the irony of being upset about someone not speaking English while misspelling a word in English is kind of funny. Meanwhile, Turning Point USA did their little, hey, if you're white and afraid of Spanish, we got you halftime show, which was as much of a mess as we thought it would be. Like Kid Rock at one point forgot the words to his own song and couldn't keep up with the lip syncing he was trying to do with the pre-recorded track. But still, of course, the right considered it a huge win. They were all online talking about how great it was. We had 5 million viewers. That's funny. Bad Bunny had 130 million. At 5 million, you had less viewers than the Puppy Bowl did. More people tuned in to watch puppies run around a tiny little football field than to watch Kid Rock and the One Has Been and a bunch of Never Was's USA show. But here's the thing. Of that 5 million people, presumably those were people who made that decision to watch it, and they have the right to do so. It's a different story if you were trying to watch the Super Bowl and then someone made you watch that instead.
I came here for the halftime show, the whole experience. Why aren't you playing Bad Bunny at the halftime show?
Because I put this halftime show on. Because this is what the majority, if you're filming me,
I'm filming you. Why are you doing it? Why didn't you play Bad Bunny?
Because the majority
I'm going to pay.
Get out.
I'm going to pay first.
Luke, this is why.
I got to pay first.
This is why I said no.
I got to pay first. But I'm asking a
Good,
question.
go pay.
I'm not being violent. Yeah, I got to pay
you.
first.
Yeah,
I shouldn't pay
what's
because
your
I
tab
came here
under?
for the full experience.
What's your
I
tab
got
under?
Which show to put
Super
on?
Bowl
Okay,
experience.
what's your tab under?
All right? I came here for the full Super Bowl experience. Are you the bouncer? Are you the manager? Are you the bouncer or the manager?
He's the manager.
All right, I'm speaking to him, not you. You do what you do, and I talk to him.
You don't
I
tell him
came
what
here
to
for
do.
the Super Bowl experience. The full Super Bowl
This is the
experience.
halftime show.
This is not the halftime
It
show.
is the halftime show.
No, this is not. This
It's
is not.
called the halftime show.
I'm gonna put this on my social media.
There you go, baby.
Good.
All right.
There you go.
That, actually.
There's your tab. You have a good night.
You
Thank you.
might get customers. You might lose a lot of customers because you might look like a
I guess
racist.
we'll see.
All right.
Guess
You
we'll
might
see.
look like a racist.
So do you.
Why?
You're a racist.
Why?
You're complaining about the show.
This show right here is not
All right,
the show.
can we do me
This
a
is not
favor?
part of the Super
I
Bowl.
have a bunch of other things that we
I
have to
came here for
do.
the Super Bowl experience. This is not part of the Super Bowl.
So don't come
Okay.
back.
This was not promoted.
So don't come back.
You know, it's especially funny to me. Not even Donald Trump at his own Super Bowl watch party watched the Turning Point show. No, they watched Bad Bunny perform. And then he got untrue. It's awful. But the guy who recorded the video, it seems like his real beef was, I paid to watch the Super Bowl, and then I came here, and you didn't show me all the Super Bowl. You made me watch this hunk of shit. And it's one thing if your business is like, hey, we're going to offer an alternative. You can come watch the Super Bowl, and we're going to turn off their little halftime show and show you the Turning Point one. But is that what you told patrons was going on? I noticed this Z on your shirt, which seems to match the logo for the Zoo Sports Club in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is also what the description on that video says, that that's where this took place. And I see lots of posts about, hey, come watch the Super Bowl with us. And none of them that I could find mention, hey, we're going to turn it off in the middle and turn on Turning Point. None of them say that. If you had, I'd be like, hey, that guy should have paid attention. But that's not what was advertised. And I think he had a reason to have beef. But hey, I think it's good that the people of St. Petersburg know exactly what you guys are about. And they can choose to support your business if they agree with you, or not support your business if they don't agree with you. And I think the internet's going to find out if that was a good business move or not.
Y'all, I don't even know why they wasted their time with this Turning Point USA stuff. I'm serious. What a waste of time. And they did stream it, and a lot of people that went over to the live stream on YouTube said there was probably about 10 people in the chat. That's what they said. I guess you white supremacists are just not that popular. Not popular to the point where people want to tune in to your halftime show. I guess it is what it is. So, y'all, we're going to be talking about what happened during the halftime show. Why some people say, the show was demonic. But you know what? I think, and, maybe I need to look a little more. You know what Bad Bunny reminds me of? He reminds me of a Spanish version of Little Nas X. Seriously, that's what he reminds me of. He's very much into the LGBTQ stuff, and there are pictures of him in full makeup and everything. But yeah, if I had to compare him to something, I would say he's the Spanish version of Little Nas X. I put him in that arena. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I will see you a little later when we touch on Bad Bunny and halftime, and it did not rate like they were saying originally. And always remember, whenever ratings are involved, it usually takes a couple of days for them to tally. So when they said it right after his performance, I knew instantly it was false. Ratings, counting the ratings do not happen that instantly at all. So whenever you hear someone tell you something was big and this is the number and the show just ended moments ago, they're not giving you any real information. So I will see you later, y'all. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And I will see you then, 1:45. Shalom, family.